what's up everybody? I'm SuperSonicJB. It's my birthday, sue me. I didn't actually mean that. That's another year of my life has finally gone by. I can finally accomplish my dream of getting a PS5. Well, there goes my day plans. Well, since that dream failed, I guess I can attempt my other dream of becoming a professional sports player. Hey guys, it's SuperSonicJB here. I just realized sports aren't really my thing, so I guess I'll do the next best thing and play some Mario and Sonic instead. Mario vs. Sonic, the classic rivalry of the 90s. Mario was at the top of the gaming world for several years until Sega came along and released Sonic the Hedgehog, a series about a cartoon hedgehog who runs fast. That was actually a true rival to the Plumber Boy. Now sure, the rivalry isn't what it used to be in the modern times, but back in 2008, Nintendo and Sega showcased a small teaser for a new Mario and Sonic crossover game that a lot of people thought it was an April Fool's joke. It involved characters from the Mario and Sonic universe competing in the Olympics. Yeah, it was really bizarre, and it was even more weird as this was confirmed to be real. Two big rivals competing in the biggest sports festival in the world seemed like a great concept. Now, yes, it would have been even cooler to see an actual adventure-style game with these characters, but at the time, we'd take any crossover between these two at this point. And in honor of my 23rd birthday, I'll be playing and reviewing them, so let's go ahead and check out all the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games games. Man, that's a weird thing to say. The first entry in the series is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games on the Wii. The game starts out with a beautiful CGI cutscene that shows the player what this game is going to be like. But then you see the actual in-game graphics, and you return the game to GameStop. Still, it's a nice opening, and seeing all the Mario and Sonic characters side by side like this was awesome back in the day. Now the game itself is a collection of mini-games wrapped up into one game, like Mario Party, but with some Michael Phelps. I mainly focused on the single match portion, so let's see what we got. Also, can we just mention the announcer here sounds really bored.
Single match mode.
So we have 9 events to compete in, and seeing Mario wield the gun is something I didn't need to see in my life. The game has a total of 16 playable characters, and nope, Baby Luigi's not one of them. Dang it! We can also play as our Mii, which I always thought was pretty cool to see myself trying to beat Sonic in a foot race. Now the actual events, they exist. Yeah, the games in this are pretty much all just focused on shaking the Wii remote and nunchuck till you win. 100 meter dash, you shake the Wii remote. Table tennis, you shake the Wii remote. Shake out the lasagna, you shake the Wii remote. Dang it, wrong game! At the end of these mini games, you always want to place either first, second, or third. Anything lower, and you get nothing but disappointment. Like I get every day! The events themselves just aren't that much fun. I mean, there was already a ton of Wii party games that were released around this time, and this one wasn't that big of a standout gameplay-wise. I will admit though, it is pretty funny to see Eggman pole vault or Sonic swim with a life jacket on, because we all know he can't swim. Just remember that scene from Sonic X.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. This game also includes a bunch of dream events, which are a spin on the regular events, but with more of a Mario and Sonic style to them. Oh hey, look, it's Sonic R! It's basically the same game, but in a Mario or Sonic level. You can fence in Seaside Hill? Why is this not that great? Yeah, the dream events didn't really become that interesting till later in the series. These just kinda felt like an excuse to make the game longer. At least the crowd really gets into it. One of the other modes in this game involves Olympic Games trivia. You basically ask a random question about the Olympics and need to answer it by playing a crappy minigame. Yeah, you can't just answer a question normally. Instead, you have to do a 30-second game where, for example, you memorize who said what. Yeah, these minigames are boring and don't really add anything exciting, but at least Tails likes them.
Awesome! Awesome! Awesome!
There's also a mission mode where you choose a character and compete in a bunch of random games. It's not that interesting, but neither is knowing who Bay is. There's also circuit mode, a series of events playing on various difficulties, and beating each one gets you a cup, which is pretty cool, but very repetitive. Then again, that's what this whole game is like in a nutshell. It's a repetitive game where you shake the Wii remote until you die of exhaustion. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the first game. But wait, there's a DS version too, and it exist? To be perfectly honest, I had no idea for such a long time that there was even a DS version of the original game. Probably because I was too busy playing Sonic Shuffle. Okay, nobody plays Sonic Shuffle. And yeah, if you like the console version, I'm sure you'll like this too, because it's mostly the same thing. Except instead of shaking the Wii remote constantly, you slide the stylus all over the DS till you win. My DS has never looked worse. Now, there are some games that have you focus more on QuickTime events, but they still feel pretty lame to me. And yes, the circuit mode returns in this game, and yep, it's the exact same thing, but with worse graphics. Honestly, the DS version just felt like an inferior version of the game that wasn't too great to begin with, so it's no wonder why I didn't know it existed. So that was the first entry in the Mario and Sonic of the Olympic Games series, and it was alright. I mean, it was very repetitive, and there wasn't a lot to it or anything, but some of the mini games were kind of fun. But we got a lot more games to talk about today, so let's go ahead and jump into the next one, shall we?
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games!
Did anyone else hear him say game instead of games, or is it just me? Off the bat, I want to say the opening cutscene is way better in this game than in the original. It makes me crave for a non-sports themed Mario and Sonic game even more, but we're probably more likely to get Mario and Sonic at the Go-Karting Antarctica Olympic Games Deluxe Definitive Edition. The menu screens look way more interesting in this game, and we even get mail from time to time. And still to this day, in 2020, around Christmas time, Santa Claus and his reindeer will appear in a dream event in the background. And if you spot him, you can press A and B at the same time to get a reward. A little weird that this still works today, but it's still a nice touch. Now, since this game revolves around winter games, it means we got brand new minigames to play. My personal favorites are ice hockey and snowboard cross. Hockey feels great to play, hitting your opponent to steal the puck and scoring a goal, and snowboard cross is just a race to the finish like you're playing a weird version of Sonic Rivals 2. There's also more dream events, and they're way better this time around. The levels are way more interesting and better looking, and the music is incredible. We can literally fight Perfect Chaos and beat him with the power of skating. If that doesn't say fun, then I don't know what does. There's even an option to use a Wii balance board. I never used it, but hey, it exists. There's also a single player sort of story mode called Festival, where you do a day-to-day practice or play in an event and fight a boss every once in a while to become an Olympic champion. It's a pretty fun time. Except for curling against dry bones, that freaking sucks! There's also a party games mode, where up to 4 players compete in a bunch of mini games like balloon popping and whatever this is. But they're not really that interesting, to be honest. At least you can do some shopping in a little village in Vancouver with the characters running around town. Another thing this game has over the original is the controls. In the first, you shook the Wii remote, but in this game, you use more buttons and the nunchuck is actually useful this time around. The games themselves are actually fun this time around. Like, I didn't expect a snowball fight to be this good. But the DS version of this game is somehow better than the Wii version. Now, the main reason why I, as well as a lot of other people, think the DS version is better than the Wii version is because of its awesome story mode. In the story mode, Bowser and Eggman kidnap the snow spirits so that they can get rid of all the snow and create their own Olympic Games. However, one of the snow spirits manages to escape and meets Mario, Sonic, and Toad, and the spirit asks for their help to get his friends back. And that's how the story mode starts. It may not be the most unique storyline, but I think it fits this series really well. As you walk around in many overworlds in this mode, you meet other Mario and Sonic characters and compete in events to get them to join your party. It's a really fun time seeing the characters interact with one another, and just walking around the hub world felt satisfying. Unfortunately, this feature never returned in another Mario and Sonic game, which really sucks. As you make your way through the map, you unlock new areas and can even challenge some bosses from time to time. There's even some mini games you play as a specific character, like Luigi avoiding some boos here. You can also end it off by facing off against Dr. Eggman and Bowser in 3 events too. So yeah, the story mode in this game is great, and it's about as close as we'll get to a normal Mario and Sonic crossover game. Now as for the events themselves, I had a lot of fun with them. Sure, most of them required a stylus, but they made the controls work very well for these mini games. Sure, the graphics aren't as good, but the music and fun gimmicks made the game really stand out compared to the other games in the series. And that's all I really have to say about this game, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one, shall we?
Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games!
Now we move on to another one of my favorite games in the series, the 2012 Olympic Games. You know, as the narrator just said, let's go ahead and say it. This game plays way better than the first Olympic Games. Sure, some minigames still have you shake the Wii remote a ton, but now there's more thought put into them. Like table tennis, for example, has you actually aim with your shots where you want the ball to go. And as always, this game has an awesome opening cutscene. It makes you think sometimes that most of this game's budgets were put into making these opening cutscenes alone. But hey, that's fine if I can witness Knuckles be a god at soccer. And this is once again based around the Summer Games, so yeah, some events return and play very similarly. But there's also a ton of new events too. Some events only require the Wii remote too, meaning this thing is useless once again. The new events here are all really fun, but I realized I called this soccer earlier when it's called football here, so my bad. Synchronized swimming with Dr. Eggman is also a thing now. Now this is the third game in the series, and I just gotta say, the crowd hasn't evolved at all. They look like they're just way too hyped to watch me spin a freaking ribbon around. Now the Olympic Games are fun and all, but the Dream Events is really where this game shines. And I gotta say this game arguably has the best Dream Events in the entire series. Flying through Windy Valley on discuses and collecting rings is a blast, and fighting PB Piranha while flying through space like in Mario Galaxy is insane! These events are just insanely fun, and there's no way they could just disappear later in the series, right? And as always, getting top 3 will get you medals, and you can use them to unlock more and more prizes as you move on. Although the prizes really aren't anything more special than just some artwork, to be honest. There's also a new single player mode called London Party. Oh yes, it's definitely gonna be like the story mode in the DS Winter Games, right? Nope. Where's my receipt for this game? In this mode, you run around London, grab items, do some very bizarre minigames, and after a while, complete in some events for a period of time until you get enough stickers to complete a sticker book? Weird choice, but at least it's better than Dry Bones Curling, right? Trying to complete this sticker book can honestly be a little annoying, but it could be worse. I could be playing the first game again. There's also a bonus mode where you can play a super basic minigame involving scratching cards until they match to get some prizes, like a music track, and you can also trade in scratch cards to get accessories for your Mii. Which is fine, but I kinda preferred shopping in the village in the Winter Olympics. It just was easier to visit a shop and purchase your items rather than collecting some stupid cards to get stuff. Like, what is this, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories? And yes, this game got a 3DS port too. And believe it or not, this version has a story mode too. Like, why do the handheld versions of these games have an actual story mode and not the console versions? I blame the nunchuck again. So this story is about Bowser and Eggman not getting invited to the Olympic Games. Gee, I wonder why? Eggman plans on canceling the games by using his fog machines to spread fog all over London, making it impossible to compete. Well, at least in the outdoor events. Now I do want to mention that the story mode here definitely has better animations than the original, which is cool, but the story itself isn't really that great. I mean, sure, the Winter Games on the DS story wasn't revolutionary or anything, but it has some interesting development. Here it's kinda just foggy cutscene, fight your hypnotized friends, go to a new area, and keep repeating this until the end. Sure, every once in a while there's a boss, which is nice, but there's also no hub world to run around in, which has definitely made this feel inferior to the Winter Games story mode. These hub worlds were fun! Fog isn't. The story mode has you gather all your allies together to beat Bowser and Eggman again in the end. And that's fine. Now, I may not have enjoyed this story mode as much as the original, but hey, at least there was some actual effort put in here. Unlike some of the other games, the games themselves are similar to the Wii version, but they have more games revolved around touchscreen controls and other gimmicks. There are also some new events exclusive to the 3DS version, and they're pretty fun. Although I think Mario and Sonic are having a little too much fun here. And that's all I really have to say about this game. And now we can go into what I consider my least favorite game in the series. That's right, here's the next game in the series that has a title so long I couldn't text it to my friend. So this game is another Winter Olympics game. And wow, it sure is something. Off the bat, we're introduced again to another opening cut. Wait, what? There's no opening cutscene here? I thought that was tradition at this point. Why, Sega, why? I will admit the menu screens here never looked better, and the graphics themselves look absolutely beautiful. There's even online here. Of course, I couldn't find anyone because this game is dead and so is the Wii U. Also, it's worth mentioning, this game was the worst selling game in the entire series, which is probably why they skipped the 2018 games. This game also requires the Wii remote and nunchuck. You don't really use the gamepad much. No, instead you use it for a thing called Mario and Sonic TV, and I'll tell ya, this is a thing. You'll get interviewed by Omochow here, and he'll ask you for tips that you can post on Miiverse, aw son of a bitch. And then you get your pic taken, so you better not be doing anything naughty there. Now as for the games themselves, they're pretty much a copy and paste of the first Winter games. Sure, they're kinda fun still, but there's nothing new or unique here that makes this game stand out from the others. It's just the first Winter games, but with a new location with better graphics. The dream events return too, and they're pretty decent, I guess. I especially love playing ice hockey in Delfino Plaza, and riding a bobsleigh in Speed Highway was cool. The other ones were just alright though. There's also a new mode called Legends Showdown, and no, I don't mean that Kung Fu Panda game. In this mode, you have groups of 4 characters make their way to the middle of whatever that thing is. Along the way, you battle clones of your characters and fight a boss here and there. So yeah, it's kind of similar to the festival mode in the first Winter games, but not as good. And this is pretty much the closest thing to a story mode in this game, because for some reason, there isn't a handheld version of this game. Nope, this game was too good for the 3DS. And that's all I really have to say about this game, so let's time travel to 2016.
Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games.
Wait, who the heck was that? That's not the same voice announcer guy. That's a different person completely! What the heck, Sega?! So the next game takes place in Rio, and this time around, the game's both on the Wii U and 3DS, so yay, I guess! They probably put it on the 3DS as well because the last game was on Wii U only and sold terribly. Also, for some reason, both versions had different release dates. I don't know why, but whatever. So let's check out the Wii U version, and wow, does this game look pretty. And I guess the developers heard all the complaints about the last game not getting a CGI opening, so they made another one for this game, including new playable characters like Diddy Kong, Jet, and now bootleg Bowser from Sonic Lost World. And get this, in this game the main menu is a small 3D hub world you can walk around in and talk to the characters in. Sonic even talks too, because for some reason he didn't have any text dialogue before. And, oh god, him. At least Mario seems happy here.
Fantastico!
So let me get this out of the way real fast. There are no dream events here! Yeah, remember all those great events that were really creative and had unique gimmicks revolving around both of the series? Well, they're not a thing in this game. Like, why? Why would they remove the best part about this series? Now they did add more events like rugby, boxing, and... okay, well, that's about it. Now there is a difficulty setting in this game for the very first time, so it kinda adds a little replay value, I guess. You can also still play as your Mii, and as a special guest, which is what this game views as a new character. But they're only used for that single event. I mean, it's a nice idea, but I feel like it would have been better if they just made these characters playable for every event. And honestly, that's pretty much all there is to this game. Sure, you can still customize your Mii and get collectibles, but come on, who really cares about that part? At least Miiverse is here again, or not. Yep, this game really didn't feel very unique or creative, especially hurt not having dream events. But let's hope the 3DS version is better. Now, just like the Wii U version, the 3DS version doesn't have any dream events either. My depression is kicking in. But this version does have some other playable characters like Nabbit and Wendy. Now the events themselves are pretty much the same thing, but at least Eggman still looks good while riding a horse. And yes, believe it or not, there's another story mode here. But here's the thing, this story mode revolves around your Mii rather than the Mario and Sonic characters. So you're a new competitor in the Rio Olympics, and you have to choose either the Mario or Sonic gym. Wait, those guys aren't Mario and Sonic.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Now depending on what gym you choose, you can slightly alter the story, and every once in a while you'll battle an opponent from the opposite gym. It's a pretty cool concept, and they did bring back the hub world feature, which is cool, but like the Wii U version, the events here aren't really that interesting. They feel very similar to the 2012 3DS events, and those were okay at best. At least my Mii runs around like a 90s cartoon character. And that's all I really have to say about the 3DS game. And since this series skipped the 2018 games, I guess it's time to check out the final game in the series.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games!
No, this is the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Not just Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, that's this one! Also, we have yet again another new announcer here, so he's better than the last, but still not as good as the original. So yes, this is the final entry in the series. I thought the series was over when there was no 2018 games, but Mario was created in Japan. He was in an ad for the Tokyo Games, so I guess it makes sense to have one last game. Well, for now at least. And as always, there's an opening cutscene to start us off, and I'll say, it's probably my all-time favorite. The animation looks absolutely amazing, and the music is great. Although Luigi's Feet is not something I needed to see in life. It's also nice to see the characters in different outfits this time around. Looking good, Waluigi! I'll be completely honest with you guys, prior to this video, I've never actually played this game outside of an E3 demo last year, but even that was limited, so I'm optimistic about what new stuff they have here. And I gotta say, these events are actually pretty fun. Now, of course, since we already had 3 Summer Olympic Games before, we will see some returning events, and some of these haven't changed much. But now they added even more modes like surfing, rock climbing, and skateboarding. And all these are pretty good. And yes, dream events are back! Well, kind of. We only get 3 of them, and one of those isn't very good in my opinion, but check out this one where we're actually holding a gun, walking around in third person as Mario. That's insane! But there is a new mode called Tokyo 1964, where you compete in events with a classic / old school looking style and gameplay. Now sure, these are already events he competed in, but now they have more of a nostalgia feel. Unfortunately, you only get 8 playable characters, which is such a shame. I mean, I get it, not every character has their own 16-bit sprite, but it would have been so cool if the developers went out of their way to make that happen. We even get an announcer when we play these games.
Uh-oh, he delayed reaction! Mario, back in the game, trying to catch up, and finish!
Now these games are fun and all, but they do get old pretty fast. There's also a story mode here, which is weird considering the story modes have only been on the handheld games, but now we finally have a console version, so let's check it out. So Mario and Sonic receive a weird gaming console that reminds me that the Nintendo Labo was a thing. Turns out the gaming console is a trap set up by Bowser and Eggman. No surprise there, who end up getting impatient and activate the console themselves. And this ends up sending the heroes and villains to Tokyo 1964. Yeah, you know, the good old days? So now the 2 sets of enemies must team up to get back to their time period. It's actually a pretty creative story, not gonna lie. We can even run around multiple hub worlds again. Sure, there isn't much to do in them besides get on with the story, but it's still nice to see this feature return again. There's also funny interactions between the cast in both timelines. And the 2D retro world really reminds me of a Sega Genesis sports game. Overall, I really enjoyed the story mode. It was very entertaining to go through. I'll also admit the controls feel great, and for once, they don't rely on some stupid gimmick, like switching between a Wii remote and gamepad between a match. The special guest characters return again, and that's still a letdown. There's also a bunch of minigames here too, and they're fantastic. Punching Shy Guys, bouncing on springs, sneaking around a museum! It's awesome! Also, online mode is back, and I couldn't find a single game, so rest in peace, online mode! The main problem with this is the fact that so many people are done with this series, and kinda just moved on, and I don't blame them at all. I really do hope this is truly the last game in the series, as I'm getting tired of winning all these gold medals. Where the heck am I supposed to put all of them? So that was the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games series. It was repetitive, had decent gameplay in some games, and came out of nowhere when it was first announced. Sure, it was fun sometimes, but we got so tired of all these sports games that we wanted something new, like an actual adventure-style game. But at least after playing through all these sports games, I've learned the best way to be good at sports is to shake the Wii remote.